speech, and Cindy has been thinking about that great show.
No, this is, yeah, what he does. Yeah, I know. Woohoo!
As I look around the room, I don't see too many unfamiliar faces. So those of you who are in here who don't know me know that I'm a pretty quiet guy. I don't usually put myself out there too much, and I never embarrass myself. So I'm sure you'll know that today I'll try to keep it to a minimum, and that won't be a problem for me. Actually, just beforehand, Cindy and I were upstairs talking a little bit about the speeches, and Cindy vanished. And she went inside, and I walked into the suite where we were having some juice and snacks and Dippin'. And Cindy was talking to the mirror and looking at her notes, and I thought, pardon my French, but holy shit, I don't have anything written down. So I don't know if this is going to help me, but I put down some bullets. That way I'm certain to have some things. And I promise you, I'm not going to cry. If you do see me cry, it's because I forgot to tell you one of the stories that I really wanted to tell you. First thing I want to do is thank you for coming to congratulate and celebrate Troy and Sally on this wedding. It's a great day for all of us. Please join me in congratulating them again. And Sally, you're like a sister to me, so I don't feel the least bit awkward saying this. You are absolutely beautiful today. Stunning. Absolutely beautiful. And Troy. You look, well, that's a great brown suit. In all seriousness, I want to thank you, Troy. I want to thank you for asking me to be your best man. I consider it to be an absolute honor and privilege to be here with you and stand beside you both today. And for those of you who know how competitive Troy is, that's actually quite an accomplishment for him, too. It only took him 32 years to admit that I'm really the better man. So here I stand before you today. I'd like to also thank John and Joanne and John and Patty for making everything possible today. So please join me in thanking them also. Thank you very much. And lastly, I promise I won't clap you out before the night begins and Troy shows us some of his dance moves because we all need to clap for those. But lastly, I want to thank everyone who traveled from great distances to be here and enjoy this special day. On behalf of Troy and Sally, I personally want to thank you on behalf of Troy for waiting 16 years until he came to his senses to pop the question. What is wrong with you? My God. Again, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kevin Robertson. Troy and I really grew up together. We've known each other for most of our lives, probably about 27 years as I was sitting down doing a little math. Then Paul confirmed it for me last night. So it was just about 27 years. The beauty of today really for me, and as I stood there, I'm not really the type that cries or tears up, but when I was standing there alongside of them, the beauty of it is I've known Sally for just about as long as I would consider her to be one of my best friends also. So it's really great to be here, you know. In growing up together, you get to know a lot about each other, and I know that Sally is a very kind, caring, compassionate, beautiful person. And Troy, Troy likes kind, caring, compassionate people. So anyway, I just want to backtrack a little bit and give you a little bit of history, what got us here today. Troy and I, we went to a Redskins-Eagles game, and Redskins are leading right now for those of you who are Redskins fans, so good stuff. Redskins-Eagles, yeah, there's a lot in here, so thanks for the support. That's right. Anyway, we went to a game about a year ago, and Troy, I'm really not even sure if I'm supposed to be delivering this speech, because Troy really never asked me to be his best man. He looked at me as we were enjoying a beverage before we went into the game and said, I'm getting married October 3rd, 2010, and I'm going to need a best man. So that's where he left it, so I just got dressed and came here today, so I apologize if I'm offending the best man.
Thanks, Kevin.
That's right. So anyway, Troy asked me to be his best man about a year ago, so really I've had about a year to think about this speech. I knew I wanted the speech to be something that captured the moment and to capture what a beautiful, beautiful day it is. Something that captured just their relationship and how they've grown together. But most importantly, and I'm going to say it again, most importantly, I wanted revenge. See, folks, 6 years, 3 months, and 19 days ago, Troy gave the best man speech at my wedding and absolutely embarrassed me in front of my family. So, Troy, here it goes. Troy and I, backing up quite a long time ago, Troy and I had grew up together, played just about everything together. Whether we were at each other's houses, we were in scouts together, athletic activities in high school, classes. We were all of that together, and you know, we grew together over time to be closer and closer friends, and then to best of friends. And as best friends, you know, you get to know just about everything about each other. You get to know the good, the bad, the ugly, which makes it hard for me today because I have no clue why what Sally sees in Troy. So that's a tough thing. But anyways, the years rolled on. I guess last night the date that was thrown out was about 1994 is when Sally and Troy got together. And Troy became very much involved with Sally as Sally was with him, and we saw less and less of Troy. But I always managed to make myself the third wheel at all of their dates. So as their third wheel, and actually in all seriousness, I can tell you that even from an early age, I knew that today was just part of their destiny, that they would certainly be here today and be married as a couple. Moving on from there, I try not to be too sentimental. Moving on from there and moving down the road, Troy and I were able to stay close. I went to Cortland College. Those of you who are local know that that's not too far away. I see a couple fist pumps for Cortland. That's right. and Troy went to Syracuse University, a lesser-known university. And Syracuse, I see a couple hand claps. Okay. So you know about Syracuse too. Anyway, Syracuse and Cortland are only about a half hour apart, which helped us to stay close. We were able to, you know, get together, do all those things that are part of the college experience, you know, research, reading, Habitat for Humanity, all those things. So anyway, I figured it was probably my sole responsibility to make sure that John and Patty, I was able to tell them everything I could about Troy today. So I'm going to give you just two stories. The first one, Troy called me up one night. It was, I believe, our sophomore year in college, and Troy said, "Kev, come on up. We're going to have a great time in Syracuse. You're going to have a blast. Just come on up. We'll go out." So I drove up to Syracuse, like I said, about a half hour away, and we went out on the evening. And the evening ended, and Troy and I were feeling a little bit hungry, as folks usually do at that hour in the evening. And we decided to go get a slice of pizza. Well, we went to this crowded pizza shop in downtown Syracuse, and I was tired, so I went off. I said, "Troy, I'll grab a table, you grab the pizza." So Troy walks up to grab the pizza, and I'm in the table, and I look across the crowded area, and I see that Troy is in a very heated discussion with these two shorter guys. So as any good friend would do, I walked over to see Troy and see what the problem was. And as a brief aside from the story, those of you that know Troy know that he likes to involve you in his matters very quickly. So as soon as I walked over, Troy quickly said, "He's going to beat you up." So at that point, I considered myself fully committed, and I just kind of shook my head. They were much smaller than us, so our odds were good. But anyway, we had a bit of a heated discussion. They walked out telling us they were going to get their friend Mario. Well, if their friend Mario looked anything like the two of them, we were in pretty good shape. So they went out. We enjoyed our pizza, thinking everything was over. Well, Mario came back in, and Mario looked like Hulk Hogan's big brother. See, Mario and the rest of his friends that came through the door, they were, I guess that would have been about the 1998 Syracuse wrestling team. So they walked in, and Troy and I did what any smart people would do. We quickly apologized, offered to buy them anything they wanted. And actually, I remember Troy sweeping up the floor in the pizza shop so he could stay late so we wouldn't go into the trash. So Troy, thank you for involving me in situations like that. My last story I'm going to tell is much less hostile, but it follows up on Cindy, so I thank you for starting that. I know we mentioned this last evening at the rehearsal dinner, but I think it's something that's good for everybody to know. See, we went out to the Rockland House one night, and coming home, actually I wasn't with them, but coming home, Troy and Sally went to Sally's parents' house, and Sally went off to bed, and Troy went to use the restroom. Well, Troy went to use the restroom, and he used the restroom, and then Troy came back, and he went to bed. And that sounds fine, doesn't it? And that would be fine, but Troy went to bed in Patty and John's bed.